Thank you. And the next one is the Papanui-Innes Community Board.
Go the Crusaders just quietly. Okay, so...
red and black, very good.
Red and black, yep. Thank you very much for having us along today. I will look at this while we are talking. Have we got... Thank you. Not a lot, actually. I just want to say that I think that the Fendleton Waimarie Harewood Board has set a very high bar with their presentations today, but quite clearly has too much time on their hands and possibly too much budget. So, well, they had video, for God's sake. Yeah, look, there's a lot happening in the community at the moment with community groups and youth agencies in the area. One organisation that we have a lot to do with and has a lot to do with us is the Papanui Youth Development, which continues to provide brilliant programs and events in partnership with the local youth agencies to Ōrahau, the Belfast Community Network and North City. And PYD's a standout youth facility in Christchurch, and it was built in partnership, which of course is really important, and it strengthens the organisation and those involved. It was a partnership 11 years ago between the Christchurch City Council and the Anglican Church. And they provide within PYD for the youth in the area a craft room, a radio station, a climbing wall, basketball courts, computer suites, PlayStation room and recording studios. So it's a really fantastic facility for the youth in our area, and they're very well connected as well and well respected and trusted, because that's a really important part of the relationship too. They have a new program at PYD. It's called Pikiake, which is Ascending to New Heights, and it offers breakfast and mentoring sessions along with a life skills program called Legacy, and it operates out of Casebrook Intermediate School. And it also works together with some reasonably high profile sports people too, which is a great connection to have. Two of the things happening in our ward at the moment is, well, this is an extra one actually. It's this is our St Albans Park and Pavilion project. The pavilion is ahead, well, the project is overall behind, but only because of the wet weather and what the effect is on the grass growing. And I mean, you could canoe out there at one stage last month, but the pavilion is just about done, and we've got a board visit to the pavilion this Friday. And this was put together, the program was developed, the building was signed off after talking to groups in the area and finding out what they needed in the building. And that was a really good process, because I think the board kind of went, yeah, we need changing rooms, yeah, we need a kitchen, but actually when we talked to the groups, it was clear that space could be better utilised. So that was a really good project or process as well. Don't talk to me about the colour, right. Just moving on, drawing a discreet veil over the St Albans Park and Pavilion colour scheme, we'll move to the next image, which I don't really want to include that in our presentation at this stage. We're still getting, well, not still, we always get some really cool stories coming back from youth in our ward as well. And I have to say that Emma Norrish, the Deputy Chair, has really picked up, you know, the mantle on the youth in our... Is she the youngest on our board, Pauline? Oh, yeah, right. So she is very proactive in the area of youth engagement. And we're seeing this with these two that came to see us, Travis Baldwin and Kaylin Lewis, talked about what a huge difference in their lives this project made going on the Spirit of Adventure Trophy. And I think it was Travis's mum was there, and she said that she saw a really amazing positive change in Travis when he came back from it. Just did she say he was keeping his room tidier? I think the space that they had on the boat was so small that they had to work really hard to keep it tidy. But you know, these young people come and talk to us, they put together a presentation and they look us straight in the eye, and I think most of the board would agree that this is one of the highlights of the work that we do on the board, is hearing that feedback from the young people in our ward. A lot of planting going on in the ward at the moment. This is the Matariki dawn planting that was on the 15th of July out in Oruiha, and yeah, again very wet. I mean, it's been a wet last few weeks actually. And then we had some more planting at the Kaputahai Creek, and that was with the University of Florida students, which got a bit of media coverage as well. And another planting day on the 25th, and that's board member John Stringer in the top right there. He went along to represent the board who worked with the student army on this. What have we got next? Oh, and that's it. So a couple of things just I wanted to raise before we finish. There are two main bits of work going on in the ward at the moment as far as consultation goes. The first one is the Cranford Street Downstream Effects Management Plan project. Now a letter's been sent to all submitters, and look, I have to say we have found that there are 4 or 5 submitters that have not received those letters, so we're just following up where that gap is and why that happened. We received 407 submissions in total. And on August the 6th, which is next Monday, the Community Board is giving the submitters, and we'll hear from submitters who've said they'd like to be heard. The process here is that there is an independent engineering expert, Dr. Shane Turner, and he's going to attend the meeting on Monday. He will then draft a report which will be referred to you as councillors, and will then proceed to a council decision, but that decision will be consulted on again within the community. Something that we're making very clear in all of our communications at the moment is that we are consulting above and beyond what is normally required for a project like this. And that's because we know how important this project is to everyone in the ward and how controversial it is. Let's be frank, it's getting a bit of coverage, and we're not going to please everyone on this, we know that. But we're not required to consult to this level. The condition in the designation for the road does make clear that the board or the council has to consider mitigation for this project, so it's actually part of the designation. We think that that is proceeding the way it should at the moment. The other one is the bus, what's the word I'm looking for, Christine? Thank you, the bus priority on Main North Road, and that is quite a I don't want to use the word fraught. It is a controversial part of or one of the controversial consultations in our ward at the moment as well. There's been some reports on removal of parking and things like that, and as you will all know, that's often an issue that sort of gets people going. But that's about all at the moment. We are finding that there is a huge pressure on our ward staff. They are all working extremely hard, helping with the newsletter, helping with the inquiries that we're getting and the engagement that we're getting from members of the community. We have made clear as a board that if there are concerns or issues around workload, that needs to be communicated to us. We cannot be dropping balls when it comes to these important consultations and engagement with the community, and so we want to make sure that that doesn't happen any more than it is at the moment.
I just had a question which is in relation to a different consultation. So I'm really pleased to see that the community board's engaging at the same time as ECAN on the changes to the bus route, which was part of a successful campaign, I think, by the retirement village in there to get the bus rerouted with the changes that are happening in the area to ensure that older people could catch the bus and staff could catch the bus too, which is good. But why are there no bus stops signs outside the shops that I go to down in this road? Surely
you mean currently?
Yeah, surely you're not going to take the parking outside that little bit of shops and put a bus stop there, are you?
That is part of the process and the suggestion at the moment, but that is not...
But that's our consultation.
Yes.
So why did the community board choose that as the location for the bus stop?
We didn't. We were presented with that as the consultation or the project that they were consulting on.
But it's our part of the project.
I understand that, and the community board... To be perfectly honest, the community board was unaware that there would be that number of parks, or indeed any parks removed from there. We do have a little bit of, we have much concern actually about this consultation. We feel that it is, we are consulting with ECAN at the same time, but it seems confused in my opinion anyway, and some of the community aren't aware of who's consulting on which bit and to whom they send their information to. As far as the loss of the parking goes, and I think the councillors might like to speak on this, I know that Mike Davidson's been engaged with the businesses down there. We've been back through the presentation that we had at the community board, and I have checked with staff. We do not recall being told that there were going to be up to 8 car parks removed from outside those shops.
In fact, 8 car parks equates to the entire length of those shops, just about. So I've been down there as well. But I mean, the community board will have delegation over that, so we're not going to just go along with it.
Hang on. But this is what I'm confused about. Did the community board actually sign off on the project to be consulted on?
No.
So can anyone tell me why that was the case? Because it's the community board's role to sign off on the consultation. We didn't delegate, or we don't have the power to delegate that to ECAN. As I understood it, from the Joint Committee's Public Transport Committee's perspective, it was agreed that it would be excellent to consult the community at the same time. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you delegate the decision making to someone else. So who decided what went out to the public as far as the location of the bus stops?
The engagement team, because the community board, we had a briefing. We didn't see the final consultation document.
Was your briefing from ECAN?
Both.
No, both.
And we were not, as Ellie has said, we were not made aware that there was going to be car park losses outside those businesses. We knew that there would be some car park losses possibly on Mars Road, and that was not brought to our attention, and especially not that number. So there seems to have been some sort of a glitch there.
Well,
yes, we have delegation, and we will have a proper process.
Christine's going to follow this up from a staff perspective today. I think what is really important here too, and I'm so glad you've raised it, that it came to us essentially signed and sealed and ready to go, and actually signed and sealed without the full information. So when we as board members and as our councillors engage with residents, either face-to-face or via email, it is very embarrassing to be informed of something of which we're unaware by the people who are affected by it. So there's certainly a problem in the process here, and Christine will be following it up from a staff perspective, but we will be from elected members as well.
I saw the signs. It is a shopping area that I go to frequently. One, very good coffee at Michael's Cafe, and two, I often buy flowers at the flower shop.
Yeah, right.
And not that I eat fish and chips very often, but they're very good as well. So I'm just saying it's a very handy little shopping centre, but it is completely dependent on parking.
There are several issues that have come out of this that raise concerns, and we are following them up.
Okay, all right. Well, that's my submission.
Thank you.
Sarah, Phil, Tim.
If I could just channel Yanni for a couple of minutes. I'll do a minute rather than a couple. And we frequently get sent through consultations as a heads up. So we get an email saying, hey, we're about to go and consult on this. This is what the documents are, and we don't get to sign them off as a board. And I know Yanni's been asking, and we've been asking as a board relatively frequently now to say, hey, can it come to us for sign off before it goes out for consultation? But usually it doesn't, unless we get a heads up at far enough ahead of time for us to say, hey, listen, we're not happy with this.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to investigate. There are some things that wouldn't go to a community board for sign off first, but there are other things that would, and this is one that would, because it's absolutely crystal clear. It's the decision making sits with the community board, and they should have signed off
landscape plans for
what
parks and all those things that are community board delegations, and they don't come to us first for sign off for consultation documents.
I mean, we'd have to look at what all of them are. So anyway, Phil.
Leanne, I've raised this issue a number of times, but I think it's really time that we've got clarification about the process of signing off all the consultations, where they go, and especially if, for example, it's a community board project.
Tim.
With our resident survey, we had questions about satisfaction, etc. So we've got to be so careful when we go out for consultation, and we do a lot of it. So I'm just surprised that with this, when you ask for going to consultation and you ask for submissions, isn't it a standard to say, and if you would like your submission heard, or if you would like to be heard? But now it seems that this wasn't done, and we're going out for sending a letter out to say if you'd like to be heard.
No, what it was it was always communicated that you would be able to speak to your submission The letter is just to confirm the date, the time, and would you like to book? Because when you've got 407 submissions, and at the moment I think we're sitting at around 25 or 30 people coming in to talk, we need to essentially have an RSVP system set up. So it was always made clear in all of the collateral and information about the process that people would be able to speak to their submission.
But surely we should do that in one go, because we're doubling up staff time, and the fact that
the trouble, I mean, and this is where I'll go back to signing off on consultation documents. The original consultation document didn't set out, it set out a timeline, but it didn't set out, you know, we're doing this because we're required to by a resource consent condition. You know, there's going to be an independent report done off this. That person's going to be sitting in on the hearings.
Are we talking about two different things? Are you talking about Cranford Street? Yeah. So he's talking about the letter that went out to the submitters after the submissions. This is for Cranford Street CNC downstream.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Sorry.
Yeah, but the downstream, the original consultation document didn't set out what was actually. Why? Didn't set out the why. Why are we doing it this particular way?
Right.
You know, that there's an independent expert being appointed and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
What the letter has done has actually set all of that out. So it's actually explained the process, which wasn't done in the original consultation document, which is good.
Yeah.
You know, the explanation letter is excellent.
But I think also too, because this is such a long process, and you'll all be aware how long the CNC's been going, we need to be regularly re-engaging with the community as well, because you can't send something out 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago and then assume that it's on people's radar as that date approaches. So that's
which is why having an email tree as well, and constantly sending updates. I mean, the implications for the downstream effects won't be implemented until there's been a sort of a 30% increase in traffic or something like that as a result of the downstream effects taking place. So we're talking 2020 and beyond. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that's going to be...
No, but with respect, we need to also be ready to implement it, or even be implementing it prior to it becoming a problem, because the last thing we want to be doing is putting something in an area where the traffic has increased 30%.
Yeah, I think I was quoting from the resource consent, but I may have got that wrong.
Yeah.
No, I think it has to be...
Do we lose them?
It has to be in before the Northern Arterial opens.
Yeah.
It has to be in before the arterial opens.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so we won't wait for the problem to present itself. We have to have it in place before the problem becomes apparent, so that we're not being reactive in putting it in place.
But I thought there were more layers to it than that.
No, you're right, there are, because there are varying levels of mitigation that can be applied. Yeah.
Anyway, so who Pauline, Mike seconded. So I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you.